Hi, guys.
Happy Pie Day.
It's Heather and Danielle from Pearly Shell.
Kinda.
Hey, kinda.
She wouldn't let me eat pie.
No, because pie's not good.
Pie is the best food.
It really is. Cherry's my favorite.
But see, I do Pie Day like with pie, and Danielle does it like
I
with
pie
circles.
with circles. So today we're going to talk about crocheting circles because crocheting circles are really awesome. And, you know, it's a really easy mathematical equation to follow. Like, it's pie.
It's easy as pie.
It's easy as pie. And you're just adding numbers, very easy numbers, not hard numbers. So, I'm going to have my phone so that I can do the pie math because I don't even do pie math in my head, which is really kind of funny. So we're going to start with a circle. I have 2 strands of yarn here to make my weight correct. And I'm using an H hook. I am going to magic loop this, which I get questions on how to do this. I take it, I wrap it around my fingers twice. Okay, so I have it wrapped around my fingers twice. I take it, I pinch it, and then I hold my yarn and I take my finger through it and pinch it. This may be backwards for you if you're watching. I am right-handed, but I think, isn't this the backwards way?
If you can see it, yes.
Okay, since I can see the camera, it's backwards, but that's okay. I'm still just, you know, so I'm holding in this, the loop open with my fingers. I am going to come in here and I am going to make a chain. It's not going to count. It's actually a single crochet around, but it counts as my chain. And I work in circles of the multiplication of 8. So I am going to, single crochet 8 single crochets into my loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I have 8 stitches, 8 single crochets on my magical loop, and it's just looped around. I'm going to take my hook around and put it in my first one. I often, because sometimes it gets a little screwy down here and it's hard to see, I will count back. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 little V's, and I'm going to put my hook under my little 8th V, and I just put my hook there to hold it. Okay, and then if you look at this, there is like yarn, your yarn coming out from here, and then there's like 2 yarns that are coming out together. Go ahead and pull those 2 yarns that are coming out together and cinch that puppy down, and then grab your end, and pull it through too. Okay, that gives you a very tight center. So then you slip stitch, you pull that through and then pull it through again, and it gives you this perfectly round little circle with a really tight center. 8 stitches, that's what I got. I'm working in single crochets, so I'm going to chain 1, and this is debatable on how you do it. I actually don't count my first chain as a stitch. Some people do. When you're following a pattern, read the notes. They will tell you whether to count it or not count it. In this case, I'm not counting it. So I'm going to go around on my second row. I am going to put 2 stitches in each stitch. So I will have 16 stitches at the end. And as I go all the way around, just going to keep going because, you know, my yarn, it wasn't feeding, so I had to straighten it out. But as I continue, I go around and around. So, coming up to my last 4 stitches. Okay, last 2 stitches, because it's 2 stitches in every stitch. All right, then I come around, here we are, it's perfectly round. And then I go into my first stitch. Open that up, and I'm gonna slip stitch it closed, okay? See? I will chain 1. Now here's where it gets really fun. I do 2 stitches in the first one. And then 1 stitch in the next. So it's 2, 1. So 2, then 1. And you do that all the way around. And every row you go from there, lost my count, so I had to look and see where I was at. Every row around from here on out, you will be adding 1 more just regular stitch. So on my next row, it would be 2 in the first stitch, and then it would be 1 regular stitch and 1 regular stitch after that. So as we go along, Aria, come. Puppy is upset. Heather went to go get lunch at the shop next door. Stop. Thank you. She pulled on her leash when I grabbed her. She said, I'm sad. You said no. Okay. So then I do 2 and 1. So every row after this, it gets 1 more space in between. So you can count as you go, and it'll be, so the next one will be 2 in between your increases, and the one after that will be 3 in between the increases. She barked the entire time you were gone. Everybody can testify. What did Heather get?
Well, they didn't have pie.
They have cake. They have cake. That's in a circle. Cake. That's a circle cake.
It's a circle. So it's a pie. It's like a pie because you could count a cake just like a pie.
Right. Which we're now getting to the measuring.
She decided we didn't have any frosting. She gave me extra cake frosting.
Oh my gosh. Because we love the frosting. Okay. So.
I didn't ask for it.
So then I slip stitch, still a perfectly round circle. So that's how you make sure you keep your circles round. Okay, is you make your increases evenly around. And like I said, the next one would be two stitches in the first stitch, and then so 2 stitches would go here, and then 1 stitch, and then 1 stitch. 2 stitches in that one, 1 crochet here, 1 single crochet here, 2 single crochets in the next one, and then the row after that it would be 3, and then 4, and then 5 in between. When you put 2 stitches in the same stitch, it's called an increase. Now, when I'm making a hat, my outside, yes, Shelly, it's like witchcraft. It's math. So when I'm making same thing, witchcraft, math, balance a checkbook. This is just as easy as balancing a checkbook.
Oh, hopefully it's easier.
Okay, so when I'm making a hat, this is really fun. This is where it gets really voodoo-like. Okay, so when I'm making a hat, Heather, can you grab me a hat?
Uh-huh.
Like that Nora one. Nope, that's not Nora. Okay, so I followed this principle on this hat all the way around. Okay, so that's what it'll look like. I used half double crochets on this one instead of single crochets, but it works up exactly the same way. So when I take my hat, and I want to know how big I'm going to make my hat, I shoot for 19 inches because most people's heads are between 18 and 20 inches. There's a few people who have 21, 22 inch heads, but generally they don't. And you have ease, which is stretch in the hat. And you can always stretch a hat larger, but it's really a pain when you have a hat that is too big. So the way I do this is I take my little circle, and this is where we get to the fun part. And my tape measure, which is now covered in Angora, and my little tape measure, my handy dandy tape measure. And I use pi. I measure directly across the center, with that little center hole, directly across the center of my circle. So we're going to call this 1 3/4 inches. Okay, I do a lot of guesstimating in this. I don't get right down to the little tiny lines. Then I go to my calculator app because I do apps and stuff. So 1.75 times, and where's my pi? It's on here. Right there. There's my pi. And I pi it. And it says right now that if I did just single crochets all the way around and I didn't increase, I'd have pi, pretty much. That's probably not even right. Here, let's do it the way I always do it, which is 1.75 times 3.14.
I'm just gonna sit over here and eat my pie while she does this.
Be 9 inches around. 9.6. There we go. So that's how many inches around, which is probably wrong too. I know this is really bad. My video seems so bad. That's wrong. Why is my math wrong? 2 times 2, 3.14 equals. It's because I have decimals in there. My decimals are messing it all up. I normally go by solid numbers.
You go by a solid number.
I did. So if I went 2 inches, that's 2 inches across. It'll be 6.28 inches around. And that's how I figure out my hats. But evidently decimals really mess it all up. 1.75. I must be like totally losing my mind. 0.14. Yeah, there it is. Now it's right. Okay, 1.75 times pi, 3.14 is 5 inches, 5.49 inches. So 5.5 inches. There it is, backwards, but there it is. I just can't use a calculator, and I'm not good at math, and I know it's not right, but that's what it was.
We have people who do math for us.
Right. See, sometimes you have to check your math 3 or 6 times. But that's how I figure out the diameters on my hats and how I make a perfectly round circle. And you can do the same. If you go and you make another row, and then you do 3 rows of straight stitch, and then decrease in the same manner that you increased, you get a nice little round ball. And then you have like a dog ball. See, Shelly, you could make Percy a ball.
Just rip it up.
He would. Poodles hate these. But you know, my big dogs love them. They pack them around. They're like, look, a soft ball. So there you go. Perfectly round circles.
And pie.
And pie. Or
Pie
cake.
cake.
Round things. Math badly. So thank you for stopping in and watching us math badly and make round things and talk about pie and cake. So I'm sure Shelly doesn't believe me. So I hope you enjoy your pie day in whatever manner you believe pie should be enjoyed. In circles,
And learn
in
something
half
new.
circles, learn something new and eat some pie or cake or something round.
Bye.
Bye.